the fifth critical choice I made, and you've wrapped us right in here. Uh, for me, it was the fifth choice because I wasn't ready to make it until I made these other choices, which
Mhm.
was to choose to give love and to receive love. Now, before I open this up, because I want to riff on this with you, is when I think about embracing our boundless capacity to love, I'm talking about love the action, love the verb, not
Mhm.
love the emotion that's not a choice, but love the action, like truly giving and
Mhm.
receiving, which manifests in different ways for different people in different scenarios. Uh, what do you think about the idea of giving and receiving love the verb? Let's just start with that. Like, just what comes up for you when we talk about that?
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I think the most powerful way that I have felt that, or that I have experienced that, in receiving love would be when I didn't know that that's what I needed.
Mm,
And I'm gonna go back to Cartasia because she exemplifies love in everything that she does. That's where she operates from. That's where her heart always is. And she's someone that she has every reason not to operate from that space consistently. Like, um, and her being able to show me what that looked like when I was uncomfortable, when I didn't know who I was, probably is the most transformational thing that I felt when receiving it from a friend. And that looked different. That there was a lot of accountability in that. There was a lot of hard conversations, and for me, that's all part of love the verb too.
yeah.
Is not always. It's not always just giving somebody a hug or showing up for them. Sometimes it's like, hey, like I've kind of noticed, like, are you okay? Or I've kind of noticed, like, you have a little bit more of an edge to you lately. Like, are you okay? And it's visually, it's being intuitive. And I think some of that is all love the verb too. Not necessarily like these grand dress gestures all the time, but just it could be just checking in. And I think that um, for me, in that example, like she not only was always there, but there was that level of challenge and support too that I think um, showed me what that was. So I think that is kind of my best time of receiving it. And it really changed the way
Mhm.
because then it inspired me to be like that for other people. So
What's an example of giving from you? From you,
yeah,
you
an
or
example.
how about this? Or a time in which you had to choose. Like I have
Yeah.
to, like I am showing up and I have to choose to give love because it is a choice. I-
Hmm.
Is is there a time that you would share or just a general observation of what it feels like when you have to choose to give?
Yeah, I think sometimes that is not always easy, especially when you maybe just don't have quite the capacity to get there at that moment, or whatever that kind of looks like for each individual. But I think that for me, choosing grace and choosing love, in the way that I operate is it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain this, but um I think it's in like it's just in the threads, and sometimes like that can be hard because when that is where you want to operate from, sometimes people aren't ready to receive that. And
Mhm.
so being able to continually live in that way and know that they might not receive it now, but they will, or they'll remember the way that made them feel, and they're going to come back to that. And so I don't know if I can think of an exact
No,
example.
you don't. That just what you said.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, when you say that, I think about my sister's choice to continuously give me love until the day I chose to receive it by picking up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't stop choosing to give it.
Yeah.
Finally, I chose to receive it.
Yeah,
Thank
it's and
goodness.
sometimes I think, yeah. Sometimes I think that's hard because that also takes a level of patience. I think when you choose to when you choose love, the action, it is you have to be patient because everybody
Mhm.
is on their own timeline, and I've probably learned that through, my profession, which is very people oriented,
Yeah,
is, that's essentially my job, right? Is to make sure that the individuals that I'm serving are served effectively, right? And their needs are met and their experience is the transformation that it should be.
yeah,
And, there's a lot of different, everyone's on a very different spectrum. And so there is definitely a level of patience of like, okay, they didn't get that, but I know that, by my standard, that is what should be happening, and or that is what I should have done in that instance. And they'll receive it when they're ready. And just knowing that there's more power in that than I think people realize.
Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.